With WrestleMania 39 still over a month away on April 1 and 2, WWE has 5 weeks to build up the card and advance all of the current storylines. Tonight's show saw Brock Lesnar respond to the challenge of Omos, and The Miz hosted a special Hollywood edition of Miz TV. We also saw Damage Control defend the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships against Becky Lynch and Lita, while Candice LeRae battled Piper Niven and Asuka faced Carmella. Let's look at everything that happened on tonight's edition of Raw, for this is Ridiculously Raw. Welcome, everybody, to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube and streaming.com today. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher. We are awaiting perhaps the presence of the Phenom Michael Bullock. If he comes in, we'll catch him up on what he missed. If not, then we will hopefully have him back with us Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Madness. Monday Night Raw live tonight from the Van Andel Arena in Grand Rapids, Michigan on the USA Network. And we started it off with an in-ring segment as it was Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa. They came out and, well, Jimmy Uso cut a promo and they were interrupted by their opponents this evening, the Street Profits. They had a verbal exchange before the match got underway. So, and then it led into the match, which was the Street Profits versus Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso. And Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso win the match 11 minutes and 35 seconds. That amniotic spike of Solo Sikoa did the job. All right. As far as the promo goes, I mean, it was so-so. It was an okay segment there, but as far as the match goes, the match was certainly competitive and gave both teams time to shine. The Bloodline was definitely controlling the pace more often than not. The Profits were able to get in a bit more offense after the mid-match commercial, but Solo still scored the win for his team with a Samoan spike to Angelo Dawkins. Fast-paced match to get the crowd in the right frame of mind. Both teams looked good, and seeing how well Sikoa worked alongside his brother was fun. However, WWE needs to figure out something more for Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins. They are over with the crowd and have had nothing to do for months because both sets of tag titles are tied up in this Bloodline story. And Jimmy Uso, valid point, families do fight a lot. You could see Jimmy struggling not to laugh when Ford and Dawkins were giving their promo. Dawkins and Sikoa had a nice sequence that showed off a little speed and agility. The way Dawkins has been able to add more moves to his arsenal while getting himself into better shape has been impressive. He's showing skills we never saw from him in NXT. And Ford does a lot of things really well, but his spinebuster needs a little work. I can easily give this about 3 to 3.25 stars for the effort. The promo segment, it was just all right for me. So not going to really go, we're not going to really go any further into detail about the opening segment. But the match, though, that's what we got to get into here. Ford and it was Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso winning the match, 11 minutes and 35 seconds. So not much more for me to say. So MF, come on in. Don't really need to get into the opening segment, but the match itself, Solo Sikoa, Jimmy Uso defeating the Street Profits, 11 minutes and 35 seconds. That amniotic spike strikes again.
Yeah, the amniotic spike strikes again, and that's been like kind of the go-to for Jimmy Uso. For Solo Sikoa lately, to honor one of his fallen own with Umaga. And yeah, I mean, it was a very impressive performance. It was a very good, to say the very least. And yeah, I mean, there's really nothing more to add here. It was well done. Like you said, 3.25, no doubt about it. And Anthony, it's yours. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, like you said, the promo we're not going to really get into much, but yeah, I mean the match here was 3.25. I mean it definitely continues to tell the ongoing story, the ongoing saga, with to see if there are any cracks with the bloodline, and yeah, but obviously Sikoa and Uso basically getting one over on the Profits here. So yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens as we continue on with the road here. So nothing more to say. It is yours, Florio.
All right. All right. Now we moved on to, well, we were wondering, and well, unfortunately, I have the unfortunate responsibility of making this announcement official. The match, the WrestleMania match that we did not want. Sorry, fellas, we're getting it. Because it was the segment there. It was the VIP lounge, MVP Brock Lesnar, but Brock Lesnar came out first, and then MVP came out after. They had a verbal exchange, and gentlemen, it is official: Brock Lesnar versus Omos at WrestleMania in a match that absolutely none of us wanted or asked for in any way, shape, or form. If you guys want to address it, feel free, or if not, we can easily move on. It doesn't matter.
I will say this. It sounds like this is a paycheck mainly for Brock. Look, you had to appease him one way or another. Obviously, they weren't going to give him the Bobby Lashley fight because of the fact that they're trying to hook him up against Bray Wyatt. Obviously, they started that tonight as well. It's unfortunate, but look, Omos wasn't being used at all. He wasn't even relevant. All I could think of, this is going to end up being like Kane versus the Great Khali at WrestleMania 23. It's going to be a forgettable fight. Nobody's really going to care about it that much. It's just a match that they just needed to fill for one of the two nights. Lo and behold, it was a match we didn't want. We got it. Because it's almost like last year. Remember when Bobby Lashley and Omos went at it? But there was a reason why behind that match. This one, it's just basically to get Lesnar on the WrestleMania card for him to go up against a big guy. It's going to be a test for Brock. Can he do Suplex City on Omos? Can he get that F5 on that big giant? I think that's kind of more or less the storyline they're going to go with. But as far as us, I hate to say it, but I think this has McMahon's hands on it. Because obviously, even though we know Hunter runs creative and Hunter is the one that is like the be all to end all for this, I think we all can agree here that I think Hunter wanted nothing to do with this, but because McMahon is back as the chairman of the board, I think he kind of wanted it. I think he did a little arm wringing on Hunter and told him, just give me this one. He's like, you can do the rest of the show, but just give me this one fight because, you know, Brock is one of our guys. And Omos is not being used, and I think he should be used. So, even though this is a fight that none of us want, and I know we don't want this is one of those that, I hate to say this is the perfect bathroom break fight. This is one of those fights that, because they're giving us so much greatness for WrestleMania, I guess we were inclined to have one or two duds at WrestleMania. I get it. We don't want it. We want it to be the greatest Mania of all time. But sometimes it's good to have at least a respite fight. To have us collect ourselves. Because as you know, as everybody knows, up until this point, we had we had the makings of probably one of the greatest WrestleMania fight cards ever. This one obviously brings it back a little bit, but still, we shouldn't be freaking out saying, what the hell? Maybe, I think I know what's going to happen. They're probably going to bury this somewhere in the middle of night 1 or night 2, and then we're just going to totally consider this like, you know what? That's a forgettable fight. Let's just let it be, because knowing Hunter and knowing that this is his first WrestleMania under his control, I think we could give him a pass on this one. At least a pass. So, Michael Bullock, it's yours if you want to talk about it quick.
Yeah, I'll say it like this. I mean, look, I mean, like you said, I mean, I know this is a match nobody wanted, but look, I mean, Brock Lesnar, I mean, they didn't know what to do with Lesnar. I mean, he needed to be on the WrestleMania card, and Omos hasn't been used in who knows how long. So obviously they had to do something here, even though we don't like it. But like you said, this is going to be a bathroom break fight here. I mean, the only major storyline is will Brock Lesnar be able to hit the F5 or even take Omos to Suplex City? Other than that, that's pretty much it. So, yeah, that's all I can say. It's yours, Florio.
Yeah, it does absolutely nothing for me. I know it does nothing for these guys, and I know it does nothing for anybody else. But all right. A match between Omos and Brock Lesnar might not sell a lot of tickets, but the way this was done helped sell the match. Omos is not good on the mic yet, so having MVP do all of the work was the only way this was ever going to work. And that's all there was to say on that. So, all right. So let's move on now to our next match. It was Cody Rhodes squaring off against Chad Gable. And Cody Rhodes wins the match in roughly an even 10 minutes. Michael Bullock, since MF started the last segment, we'll give this one to you here. Cody Rhodes defeats Chad Gable in roughly 10 minutes. But we got some big news, boys. Friday night on SmackDown. MF, you want ratings? How about the American Nightmare coming to Team Blue on Friday night? Go ahead, Bullock.
Yeah, you want to talk about ratings? I mean, well, first off, I mean, this was a good match here. I'll give this about maybe an even 3 on this one. I mean, maybe teetering on 3.25 because, I mean, look, when you got the talent of Chad Gable along with Cody Rhodes, you know it's going to be something good here, and I enjoyed it. And yeah, the big story with Cody Rhodes going to Team Blue, going to Friday Night SmackDown this coming Friday night for a face-to-face with the head of the table, the Tribal Chief. That's gonna make the ratings go up. I mean, as if Roman doesn't have enough on his plate already. I mean, with the whole Jey Uso situation, now he's gonna have to go face to face with his WrestleMania opponent. This does make it for a very interesting SmackDown on Friday night. So there's nothing more to say. It is yours, Florio.
Solid 3, teetering on 3.25. I 100% agree with Michael Bullock's rating here. Cody Rhodes predictably picked up the win. But predictable outcome. But both of these men are fantastic technical wrestlers. This was a great match from bell to bell. Despite being much higher on the card, Cody Rhodes sold a lot for Chad Gable to make this feel more competitive. Cody predictably picking up the win, but the journey to get the finish was tons of fun. And then the American Nightmare gave a promo about heading to Friday Night SmackDown this Friday night in our nation's capital in Washington, D.C., to finally have a face-to-face confrontation with Roman Reigns. And we talk about wrestlers interacting with fans, going back to that unfortunate incident with Lacey Evans and that young fan who had the Down syndrome some time ago. Cody Rhodes made a little kid's whole year by giving her a hug before the match. The smile on her face was so big and genuine. Sometimes adult fans need to remember that most professional wrestling is designed to appeal to younger fans. And seeing kids having a great time can make an event a lot more fun for the adults. Chad Gable has so many ways he can apply the ankle lock. It always looks so smooth whenever he transitions into it. The missed diving headbutt looked great. Gable sold it perfectly. Cody had a nice transition into a figure 4. And the Cody cutter from the top rope looked amazing. Solid 3 to 3.25 stars for this match. Another one of the top matches of the night. So there isn't much more for me to add. So MF, predictable outcome. But hey, Cody made Chad Gable look great here tonight in a solid 3, maybe 3.25 star match. But I know you got to be very excited because Cody Rhodes will be invading Friday Night SmackDown in our nation's capital Friday night to confront the Tribal Chief and his WrestleMania main event opponent.
Yes, and I have to say that just to hear that the American Nightmare is going to be there is absolutely amazing. Cody Rhodes cannot do any wrong right now. He is on the best run of his career. Not only, and the thing is, Cody gets it. He knows what it is to be a showman, to be a great professional wrestler. But, and I get it. There's some things that you hear about Cody that, he's this, he's that. No, Cody's a cool guy. He's actually a genuinely very nice individual that a lot of fans appreciate and love and support. And this just proves why Cody is great. This is what proves yet again why Cody is such a likable character and a really awesome individual. So Cody does these things, either gives the belt to a youngster or the hug to that great fan, and but that's Cody Rhodes. And the thing is, it's not just Cody who does that. The reason why Cody does that is because he's a representation of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. And I think, as you can tell, as you hear every time, Dusty and how humility and how honest and amazing he is, Cody is that and then some. So for us as fans, I think we missed the mark on that. We don't really recognize the greatness until we see it for our very own eyes. And we're seeing greatness in that ring right now, and that's the American Nightmare. And, I can't wait for Friday. I can't wait for Cody to be coming to the Blue brand, and that's going to be a whole bunch of fun. I'm excited for it because, like we said, we got to book this sucker for WrestleMania, and it's good to have and this is good to have at least the first moment of seeing Roman and Cody work together. I think we're going to see magic on Friday night. So nothing more to say. Anthony, Bullock, yeah, it's yours, my friend.
Well, and the thing is, with Cody Rhodes, this is the difference between the Cody Rhodes we're seeing now and the one we saw from his first go around in WWE.
Agreed.
The Cody Rhodes from the first go around, he wouldn't be doing any of that. He would diss the fans. He would probably do some things that would rub me the wrong way, but Cody's shown he's a grown man now, and he's different from that Cody Rhodes we saw the first time around, and he cares for the fans. And to see that he made that young girl's dream come true by just simply giving her a hug, I'm sure that's a hug that young girl is never going to forget. And Cody Rhodes to me is a people person now. I mean, he cares about the people, and he's learned so much from his late father, and that is why I think so many people want to see Cody Rhodes finally fulfill his dream, not just for himself, but for the memory of Dusty. Why he wants to be the one to end the reign of the tribal chief. I think everybody is pulling for this guy. They want to see him do it and honor the legacy of his late father.
All right. So moving on to some other things here before we get into the next action. Judgment Day did a little vignette. They spoke while footage of Rhea and Dom on last week's SmackDown was shown. Of course, we all know Rhea Ripley will be facing Liv Morgan Friday night. Dom will be there, so maybe he and Ray, pick up where they left off. And then Rhea spoke about how she didn't have a word to say to Charlotte Flair. And then Finn Balor says, "Hey, your Edge is playing checkers while I'm playing chess." And Balor said, "We can end things if Edge accepts my challenge for a match at WrestleMania." So, told you that thing wasn't over yet, boys. So apparently we will have. Well, we're gonna have to wait. We gotta wait and find out. But for all intents and purposes, we're probably gonna be getting an Edge versus Finn Balor match at WrestleMania. And I'm also hearing rumors. I'm sure you guys have heard them too, that it could be inside Hell in a Cell. So
yeah, I also heard that Finn Balor might be bringing back somebody that we're familiar with.
The Demon. The Demon, possibly. I mean,
that's what I've been hearing too.
For the first time since he started in Judgment Day, we were wondering how it would look from a heel side of things. So,
and the last time we saw the Demon was in Madison Square Garden when he actually I think it was the Extreme Rules pay-per-view when he challenged the Tribal Chief.
I think it was.
Yeah.
I believe you're right.
That was the last time we saw the Demon.
Okay, so
obviously, like you said, I mean, Judgment Day was basically serving purpose to their rivals, not just Finn Balor with Edge, but also Dominic with his father, and of course, we all know that it's leading to Dominic and Ray at WrestleMania for sure. And I'm going to go on the record of saying this will be the most personal matchup in the history of WrestleMania. I mean, we've seen a lot of things, a lot of matches that have been very personal. Boys, it doesn't get more personal than this.
Maybe the most personal probably since Vince and Shane, because of the whole WCW thing. So going into 17. So and the build for that was amazing.
But that's nothing to compare to this, because you got a father who raised this young boy to become a man, and for him to ever think that he would be going one-on-one with the boy that he raised, that's got to be tough for a father.
Absolutely, it is. So, we move on to our next matchup, which was Asuka squaring off against Carmella. Asuka wins the match, 8 minutes and 50 seconds. About maybe 2.5, 2 3/4. This match went through a commercial break, so this wasn't just a quick squash for the Empress. WWE wants to portray Asuka as a beast, but she still sells for her opponents because she is a pro. The match itself was nothing special, but it served its purpose, which was to give Asuka a win as she awaits her title shot at WrestleMania. Carmella is good at putting other people over, so she was the right choice. Asuka scored the win and called out Bianca Belair. The EST showed up, but Carmella ended up shoving Asuka into her to end the segment. Mella's got some decent kicks in her arsenal. She's better at a lot of things than most people will admit. She gets a lot of unnecessary criticism online for some reason. One of the back fists Asuka hit looked like it may have connected a bit too hard. Either that or Mella was selling the impact a lot. 2.5, 2 3/4 of a star for this effort. Carmella, well, we're going to be seeing more of Carmella because we're going to see more of Carmella intertwined in this story, because next week, Monday Night Raw, Boston, TD Garden, MF. Next week, Carmella, Bianca Belair will go one-on-one. So we'll see how Carmella does with the EST. But for right now, MF, Carmella doesn't fare too well against Asuka. Asuka defeats her the same way she did at the Chamber with that devastating armbar of hers, 850.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. You're talking about basically Asuka now. She's in the back of her mind. She's thinking one thing and one thing only: the road to WrestleMania and the whole 9 yards. And she's just getting better and better. Yeah, she's given up a lot of offense that maybe not necessarily she should be doing. But at the end of the day, you also got to remember that sometimes you can't just be dominant the whole way through. Sometimes you got to give your offense. You got to let your opponent get some offense in, because that entertains the masses. At the end of the day, they did a great job. They gave the body of work was excellent. So, no, for me, solid for what it was worth. Brilliantly done. 3 stars. And, yeah, it's yours, Anthony.
Bullet.
Sorry, Mike.
No worries. 3 stars, I'll definitely give it. I mean, I thought it was a fine match here. I mean, obviously you want to continue to give Asuka the momentum going into her Raw Women's title match against Bianca Belair at WrestleMania. So a nice win for her. Yeah, Carmella, I mean, with those kicks, I mean, she continues to improve. I mean, because she's starting to look like that Princess of Staten Island again. So, yeah, there's really nothing more to say. It is yours.
All right. Moving on. Next up, we had Piper Niven squaring off against Candice LeRae. Candice LeRae wins the match, 2.5 minutes. Nikki Cross played into the outcome of that one. Apparently there's something going on with Nikki Cross and Candice LeRae. But instead of seeing if Cross was all right, LeRae just went straight to the back. It was quick and didn't really give either woman a chance to stand out. I hate to say it, but this was a dud for me. This was one of the worst fights of the night, if not the worst fight of the night. But it's one of them. All right. The Miz TV segment. This was the WrestleMania edition of Miz TV, and you know the $1 million question was, what was inside that gold envelope that Maurice gave her husband last Monday night? Well, now we have an answer, gentlemen, and I got to give credit where credit is due to good old MF Michael Fletcher, because he called it. I believe he had this one. He called it on the show last week. The announcement was made. Gentlemen, The Miz is going to be the host of WrestleMania 39. So, and on top of that, Seth frickin' Rollins comes out. Yep, he comes out and, well, let's just say he laid out Miz, confiscate or pilfered Miz's phone and FaceTimes Logan Paul and says, "Hey, I want to see you in Boston next week for a face-to-face." And Logan Paul says, "Sounds good. Let's do it." So next Monday night on Raw in Boston, Seth Rollins, Logan Paul, face-to-face. I think we all know where this is heading, guys. I think it's
time to point at that WrestleMania sign, boys.
Just like the three of us will be doing when Raw comes to Providence.
Yep.
2 weeks. 2 weeks from tonight. And now that you mention it, I think it would be a good time to make this programming note. 2 weeks from tonight, that March 13th, we will not have a Ridiculously Raw that night. Instead, we're going to bump that thing over to Tuesday night for a special Tuesday edition of Ridiculously Raw, March 14th, because we're going to be going to that show. We're going to be out late. It's going to be way too late to do a show. So that'll be in a couple of weeks. So be forewarned on that one. But anywho, guys, we can make this another free form if we want here. Miz, the host of WrestleMania, MF, you had that one, and
Yep.
Rollins and Logan Paul face to face next week in Boston.
No big surprise for the Miz. It looks like they're gonna have him, and that's fine. I actually don't mind the Miz hosting WrestleMania because normally when you host WrestleMania, there's not much interactions. You remember the year that Alexa Bliss took over WrestleMania?
35.
And
35.
35. And relatively speaking, she really didn't do much. She gave us Hulk Hogan at the beginning, which was awesome.
Mark out moment.
Announce the attendance. But more than anything else, I think that's what we're going to get with the Miz at this year. We're probably going to get to see Maryse there, most likely, all intents and purposes. I think we'll probably see Maryse. Maybe he brings his daughters there too. Who knows? If they're old enough. But other than that, I'm cool with what they do. I'm cool with what they have in mind. I'm cool with everything that they're trying to do for WrestleMania. So yeah, at the end of the day, it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. It's gonna be, whatever you want to say. And at the end of the day, yeah, Miz hosting. I'm not too, like I said, it gives them something to do at WrestleMania. I don't think we're gonna make a big squat about it. Fine. So Miz is the host. Big deal. No problem there. Rollins going out and getting the phone and hitting up Logan Paul and telling him, hey, I want your butt at TD Garden in Boston. All right, we can do this. Let's do it. So, yeah, Logan Paul right now heading back from Saudi Arabia after his brother basically suffered a shocking loss to the brother of Tyson Fury yesterday afternoon. That fight happened in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and yeah, it was an 8-round fight, and it ended up being a split decision loss. But I think by all intended purposes, Tommy Fury won the fight. Even Jake Paul even admitted it. He's like, no, I lost this fight. Tommy was better. He finally, so it is what it is. So I'll get into it a little bit more on Friday night. I got a few more things I want to say about that fight. Special Mikey's mindset for Friday night. Not only do we got the RWA Renegade Rumble we got to talk about, but I want to sink my teeth into that one. So I'll talk about that on Friday. But yeah, nothing more to say. Bullock, if you want to say something, go. If you don't, then we'll just hand it right back to Tone.
Yeah, and I'm fine with the Miz hosting WrestleMania. I mean, look, as long as as long as he does a good job, which I think he will. I don't really expect much. So, and yeah, Rollins and Logan Paul next week in Boston. It's going to lead to the match happening at WrestleMania. So there's really nothing more to say. It's yours, Florio.
Yeah. I'll say it like this. When it comes to The Miz serving as the host or master of ceremonies for WrestleMania, I'm good with it as well. As long as, it's in small doses and there's not too much, over the top, funny, hijinks and whatnot. Unless there's a purpose for it. That's all I can say. Unless you want to let it serve as like a cool down for an epic match. I don't know. But I'm good with that. That's a perfect role for him. They obviously didn't have anything in terms of a match for him. So perfect utilization for the Miz. We all know he's got experience in this role. You remember when Miz first came to WWE back in 2006, you remember he was basically the master of ceremonies for SmackDown back then. So he has experience with hosting. So perfect role for him. And Rollins and Logan Paul. I mean, that's going to be interesting to see what that's going to be like. And Logan Paul in Boston. Oh, how do you think those Boston fans are gonna take to him? Yeah. Those Boston fans are gonna burn him, toast him, roast him, toast him, burn him to a crisp. Ain't I right on that?
He is going to get the Montreal Canadian treatment, or if you're a Boston Red Sox fan, he's going to get the New York Yankee treatment. Those kind are not welcomed in Boston. You know that.
I can't wait.
Especially if you're especially that. I just hope he does not trigger and say something about the Boston fans, because you know they will jump immediately after him.
Oh yeah.
He better mind his P's and Q's, especially with that crowd in Beantown. Oh, don't do it. Don't do it. That's all I'm just saying.
I got this bad feeling that he's gonna do it, and
he doesn't. He could. I don't know. As long as he doesn't, because if you're talking about the Red Sox, all right, fair game, no problem. But if he says something about the Boston Celtic fans, or something, or the Bruins, yeah, you're asking for trouble. You're asking for trouble.
Well, find out next week, and all I can say is I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see him get crucified. It's going to be so much fun. I'm going to enjoy every minute of that sucker. Let me tell you. So we'll see what happens with that face-to-face. So, all right. But that face-to-face is only going to be for one reason. It's obvious. This is obviously where we're going to make the Mania match official. So, all right. Let's see. A lot of stuff here, a lot more backstage stuff. And then we had yep, so I'm just looking at it. So all right. You want to make next Monday's Raw even bigger? Well, I think we already knew about this in advance. John Cena, we all know John Cena is going to be in Boston. Austin Theory mentioned him. So I think Austin Theory and John Cena are going to have some words next week. So, oh boy. Then we had Bobby Lashley squaring off against Elias. Bobby Lashley wins a minute 35. This was actually the worst fight of the night. This was a dud. Another dud. Second dud of the night. The way Lashley just picked Elias up like it was nothing is never going to stop being impressive. Elias is a big dude, and Lashley didn't even break a sweat. That's all you need to know. Then we had Otis against Johnny Gargano. Johnny Gargano wins the match, 3 minutes. Gargano gets the win in what ended up being a short match. It had some highlights, but they could have done a lot more with just a few more minutes. I'll be a little more generous. I'll give it about 1 for the effort. So not really gonna, get into all that. All right. Before we get to the big main event, let's get into let's set the table for next week. As we all know, Monday Night Raw will be live next Monday night from the TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. Let's run it down, boys. How about this? Kevin Owens, 1-on-1 with Solo Sikoa. Seth freaking Rollins, Logan Paul face-to-face. And this is a match. This is a Bullock special. It's not often I say a Bullock special, but I'm gonna call it a Bullock special. because Bullock, you've got two former NXT champions going one-on-one. Johnny Gargano and Finn Balor. Ooh, that's got potential banger right there. Bianca Belair squares off against Carmella. And then, of course, the return of the one and only John Cena in his hometown. So, all right, main event of the evening. The WWE Women's Tag Team Championships on the line. The champions, Damage Control, Dakota Kai and Io Sky, with Bayley in their corner. Defending against the challengers, Becky Lynch and WWE Hall of Famer Lita. Winners of the match in 13 minutes and 25 seconds. And the new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Becky Lynch and Lita. They win the titles with a little help from Lita's bestie, Trish Stratus. Trish showed up. She was the difference maker. She neutralized Bayley and Lita. The moonsault may not have been as glamorous as it once was, but it was still effective. And the man and the Hall of Famer are WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. I have no idea who's supposed to jump off on this one.
I think it's you.
It is me? Okay. Only fitting because it's my girl Trish Stratus. Age is like fine wine. First off, let me just say it like that. Looks incredible. Let me just say that. She never ages, never has, never will. All right. Fight of the night here. 3 1/4, teetering on 3.5. Solid tag team match to close the show. Becky Lynch did a lot of the heavy lifting for her team, but Lita still had some good moments. You could definitely see some ring rust on her, but her limited time in the ring helped keep it from being a major issue. Trish Stratus ran down and attacked Bayley to even the odds. Lita ended up hitting Dakota or Io Sky with a moonsault to get the pin and win the women's tag team titles. Trish joined them for the celebration to close the show. The original plan was apparently to have Trish Stratus team up with Lita, or I should say Trish Stratus team up with Becky Lynch, but Lita seems like a better fit for several reasons. Lita seemed to have a little trouble jumping off of Lynch's back to hit a move in the corner. Sky's moonsaults truly are a thing of beauty. And as we've been saying, this whole thing will most very likely lead to a 6-woman tag team match at WrestleMania with Becky Lynch, Lita, and Trish Stratus squaring off against all 3 members of Damage Control, Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. 3 1/4, 3.5. By default, this was the fight of the night. And there isn't anything more left for me to say except MF, new champions. What does that mean, Monsoon?
Yeah, history was made here in tonight, and this was actually one of those that just caught us out of nowhere. I don't think none of us thought that Lita and Becky Lynch were about to become the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. No doubt in our minds. I don't think none of us thought this was going to happen, and it did. It's a shocking turn of events. It's a shocking moment. And yeah, history was made, unprecedented crowning. Just like we didn't expect a title changing hands last night. And we'll get into that on Friday. I don't think none of us saw this coming. I think we all thought that Damage Control was going to win it and keep the belts. And now this changes everything, especially for people like Becky Lynch and for when you're talking about Becky Lynch and for Lita to hold the gold in WWE. I mean, that's a big moment for them. I know somebody very close to me who is my niece, who is a big fan of Becky Lynch. She imitates the man. She's got the look of the man, and she loves Lita. Lita is one of those great people, down to earth, wicked awesome individuals. I know she must be over the moon tonight to realize what just happened, the history being made, and the crowning of the new champion. So I'm happy for her. So congratulations. And yeah, there's really nothing more to say. So yeah, Michael Bullock, What a night. What a moment. With the new champion being crowned.
And Bullock thought it was going to be a DQ.
Yeah.
Bailey.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It almost was. Almost was.
Yeah, but like you said, Fletch, as Gorilla Monsoon would say, history was indeed made, and Lita and Becky Lynch are now the women's tag team champions, thanks to Lita's bestie Trish Stratus. We all knew that that Trish was probably going to show up here tonight, and you know where this is heading down the line. WrestleMania, Trish Stratus, Lita, Becky Lynch against Damage Control, because you know Damage Control, they want their payback, and there's no other way to do it than to have this 6-woman tag at WrestleMania. So what a night! History was made. 3.25, 3.5. It's yours, Florio. It's time for our overall thoughts.
All right, and good old MF Michael Fletcher. Last week, definitely a back to reality show after that hot chamber, but they definitely maybe not the greatest show, but definitely.
No, they stepped it up. They stepped it up. They stepped it up. I think it was better than expected. Last week was a back to reality. I think we can openly admit it. But as far as tonight goes, no, this was a solid show. This was good action. We had a great night. 7.5. I might be overscoring it a little bit, but no, it's a 7 to 7.5. I enjoyed it. I thought they did a great job. So yeah, nothing more to say. Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'll give it about 7.5. I thought it was a good show. I mean, it was definitely an improvement. So, yeah, I really got nothing more to say. So, Florio, you have the final say.
Yeah, about 7.5. Not the most exciting show, but it was a newsworthy show for the most part. There's absolutely no doubt about that. We didn't have any earth-shattering matches or anything. We didn't have any matches that we said were like, wow, that was amazing. But we had some solid matches, a couple of solid segments here and there. Newsworthy show. Mania continues to take shape. Brock Lesnar versus Omos has now been added. The Miz has now been announced as the host of WrestleMania, and on top of that, we have we've set the table for what is most likely going to be a very exciting show, because it's Boston. We know WWE in Boston now, don't we, guys? We know MF.
I was going to say, when it comes to WWE, there's only 4 cities. There's only 3 cities where when WWE comes to town, something crazy always happens, especially up here in the Northeast.
Yeah, it does.
Boston, Providence, New York. And when I mean New York, I mean Madison Square Garden. Not Barclays.
No.
But MSG. Anytime they come to those 3 cities, that's all I'm just going to say. So hopefully we get something wicked special in Boston next week. And then after that, you got Providence in back-to-back weeks for Raw. So, yeah, this road's going to get really crazy now.
Oh, and by the way, Sunday, March 12th, the night before Raw comes here, there's going to be a house show in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, so, that's all I'm going to say.
Somebody's getting excited. I can hear the hype out of you, MF. I hear it.
Yeah. I'm trying to cage it, because it's not. I don't want to get too hyped for WrestleMania. I don't want to do that. But yeah,
we will soon enough. We will soon enough. Trust us. I think next week, I think that's where the hype's really going to start. Because it's Boston and Providence in back-to-back weeks for Raw before they go to St. Louis after that, and then their go-home show in Phoenix. So SmackDown Friday night, Washington D.C. We'll see what happens. You got Cody coming in, so exciting stuff to say the least. 7.5. There's no question about it. And of course, newsworthy show to say the very least, and we're finally going to get some interaction with Cody and Roman. So knowing that's going to happen Friday night, and then next week, with Cena coming back and Rollins and Logan Paul face to face, and Bianca and Carmella, we got Gargano and Balor, 2 former NXT champions. I know it's gonna, I already know Bullock's gonna get sentimental about that because we all know how much Bullock loves NXT. So, but anyways, 7.5, newsworthy show. I got a feeling next week's show could be even more so, especially the next 2 weeks, Boston and then here. So, all right, special Tony's Take here. Here are the results from this past Friday's Impact Wrestling No Surrender special that went down this past Friday night on Impact Plus. It also aired on, it also streamed on Fight TV and also on YouTube for those of you who have that insider membership. So let's start it off. The shocker of the night, and this was on the pre-show, Giselle Shaw with the biggest win of her career. She knocked off Deonna Purrazzo, the Virtuosa. Wow. Humongous win for Giselle Shaw. That's definitely going to boost her up the knockout standings. No question about that. 9 minutes, 7 seconds to Giselle Shaw, upsetting Deonna Purrazzo on the pre-show. Also on the pre-show, why this was on the pre-show is beyond me. This is a main card worthy match, but oh well. Jonathan Gresham against Speedball Mike Bailey. Jonathan Gresham wins the match, 11 minutes and 1 second. Now to the main card. First, we had Khan of Violent by Design squaring off against Frankie Kazarian. Frankie Kazarian wins the match, 9 minutes, 24 seconds. The first of our several title matches. The Knockouts Tag Team Championships on the line. The champions, the Death Dolls, Jessica and Taya Valkyrie defending against the Hex, Allison Kay and Marty Bell. Winners of the match, 8 minutes, 57 seconds, and still the Knockouts Tag Team Champions, the Death Dolls. Then we had a dot combat match for the Impact Digital Media Championship. The champion, Joe Henry, defending against Moose. Winner of the match, 12 minutes, 14 seconds, and still the Digital Media Champion, Joe Henry. Fatal four-way match to determine the number one contender for the Impact World Heavyweight Championship. PCO versus Heath versus Brian Myers versus Steve Macklin. Winner of the match, 9 minutes, 18 seconds. And the number one contender for the Impact World Heavyweight Championship, Steve Macklin. Called it. Told you he was going to win that. 6-man tag team match. This is an MF special. Bullock, I gave you one. MF, I'm giving you this one. Ace Austin, Chris Bay, and Kenta. You know Kenta, MF. I know you do.
Mm-hmm.
And they went up against the Motor City Machine Guns and Kushida, Time Machine. And the Bullet Club won the match, 19 minutes and 4 seconds. Whew. What a match. What a match. And then the Knockouts Championship on the line, the champion, Mickie James, defending against Masha Slamovich. Winner of the match, 12 minutes, 19 seconds. And still the Knockouts champion, Mickie James. And then in the main event, Impact World Heavyweight Championship on the line, the champion, the walking weapon, Josh Alexander, defending against the challenger and former Impact World Heavyweight Champion in his own right, Rich Swann. Winner of the match, 25 minutes, 13 seconds. And still the Impact World Heavyweight Champion, the walking weapon, Josh Alexander. And gentlemen, we have our main event for the Rebellion pay-per-view in April. I believe it's April 16th. Josh Alexander will defend the Impact World Heavyweight Championship against Steve Macklin. And I'm going to go on the record right here and right now. This is where the Walking Weapon's reign ends. I think Macklin's walking out of Rebellion the new champion. I'm calling it right here, right now. You heard it here first. And don't be surprised if the night after, on that Ridiculously Raw, when I review that show, that I say just that. So that's it. So that'll put the bow on this edition of Ridiculously Raw. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in as always. MF, same times for our content this week, I'm sure?
Same time for our content as always, yes.
Okay. So Wednesday night, 10:30, Wednesday Night Madness, over on MF's channel, Racefan 95. NXT, AEW Dynamite. Oh, by the way, for AEW Dynamite, this is their go-home show for Revolution. From the legendary Cow Palace in San Francisco. Thursday night, TXN Sports World. Not much on the docket as of right now. We'll continue our XFL coverage. I know that. And I remember we talked about yesterday. I think there was a big trade in the NBA that we addressed them at yesterday.
Big trade in the NBA, and there's actually been some trades in the NHL. We're gonna get into it a little bit.
And don't
Timo
forget
Meyer.
Machado staying with the Padres.
Oh, Manny Machado. Oh, that's it. Yep, Manny
Yep.
Machado staying with the Padres. That was the thing we talked about. Yep, that's
Yep,
it.
Machado. There's been some trades in the NHL, and I do believe there was a big injury that got suffered. LeBron James actually suffered an injury that I think we should definitely get into, because this might have some major playoff implications for the Lakers.
Okay, all right. We'll we'll get into all that on a Thursday night, another light show. But don't worry, the week after that, March 9th, in addition to our XFL coverage, it will be our conference tournament previews. So
yep.
And that'll, set the table for our big March Madness show. So, all right. And then from there, Friday night, we got a loaded edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk. Friday night SmackDown, AEW Rampage. We got the preview of Revolution, and then in a very special Mikey's Mindset that Bullock and I are actually gonna, believe it or not, be a part of, because we were a part of this. MF will share with you the results of RWA Renegade Rumble, which myself and Bullock went with MF last night, and I'm still pinching myself after, let's just say, something that happened to me personally after the show. And yes, if you're wondering, I'm still marking out to this moment. So I've been marking out all for the last 24 plus hours, and I don't know how long the mark out's gonna keep going, but it's something I'm never gonna forget. So that's all I'm gonna say. So we'll get into that on Friday, and then next Monday night we do it all again, Ridiculously Raw, as we continue the road to WrestleMania. Monday Night Raw in Boston, and then my traditional Tony's Take will be back with Impact Wrestling and NXT Level Up. So that's it. So until Wednesday night, on Wednesday Night Madness, over on MF's channel, Racefan 95. This is Anthony Florio here for Good Old MF Michael Fletcher, for the Phenom Michael Bullock, and in spirit, always and forever, the first lady of this show, the Twisted Angel Dee Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed couple of days, and until Wednesday night, on Wednesday Night Madness, you've been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and streaming.com. And remember, my friends, no matter what anyone tells you beyond anything else, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody, bye.